What's going on, guys? Today I want to talk about when should we expect information about college football 26. It is on deck. We should be getting information somewhat soon, and with college football 25 being a massive success, being the highest selling sports video game of all time in the US. And if you want to know how this was able to happen, I did make a video talking about it and why I don't think it will ever be surpassed ever again, in my opinion. So I will put that link it in the corner. But I want to give some info and some assumptions and some guesses of when I think we should be getting information, just based off of the recent data from EA, from what we got from last year, and just kind of go from there. So let's just go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna go with the dates from College Football 25, just so we can compare it to that. So we got the first official announcement of College Football 25 on February 15th via a video on social media. So this is that video that was shot at the Rose Bowl, where you have the guy stitching the jersey and talking about, hey, the game's coming, it's here, and then showing just a little bit of screenshots. And that was like just saying, hey, this game was coming out. Now, I think EA was kind of pressured by the community to come out with some sort of an announcement. And I know there was a lot of hype that something was going to come out around the national championship game in 2024 between Michigan and Washington. There was a lot of teasers saying that during halftime or right after the game there was going to be a trailer drop, and some people were saying, no, this isn't happening. In the last second, people were like, no, it's not happening. But there was a lot of hype about it, and then when that didn't happen, I think a lot of people were disappointed, and people were like, is this game even going to come out? So I think EA was kind of pressured to kind of come out with a video saying, hey, it's actually coming out, it's called College Football 25, and then we'll actually have a full reveal in May. So that's what happened last year. And then we got the first ever reveal sizzle trailer, where it just shows a bunch of music and stuff. That was on May 17th. And then they also dropped a deep dive blog post, which I think is really where you get a lot of the major information about the game. Those deep dive blog posts really do give you a lot more info than these trailers, because the trailers are just trying to look cool, show off the graphics and stuff, but it doesn't really show everything. Those deep dives really go into the specifics. And then we got the next gameplay reveal trailer on May 31st, so 2 weeks later. And again, these were both on Fridays, so just to let you guys know. And then we also got a deep dive on that as well. And then we got the rankings showcase on the 24th of June. Now, this was a whole week where they went over the best players, best teams, and I thought it was a pretty cool I thought it was cool. I like showing off the players and the teams, and the best, toughest places to play, and things like that. And I think that was allowing us to kind of have a lot of conversations on social media and stuff. So I thought that was a good idea. And then we got the sights and sounds deep dive 2 days later on the 26th. And then over the following 2 weeks, we ended up getting some more trailers and deep dives on major features like Dynasty, Road to Glory, Ultimate Team, and then Team Builder, with the game releasing on early access on July 16th, with the full release going on July 19th. So that's the College Football 25 timeline. So now I want to give my official predictions for College Football 26. So first, College Football 26 already had its little announcement. It was just a press release, basically. They didn't come out with a video where the guy was stitching a jersey again, which I thought it would have been funny if they did that, but they were just saying, hey, the game's coming out, and it's coming out over the summer. And that was released on January 16th. There was a lot of major news outlets that just kind of came out with it, and it just kind of flew under the radar, because again, I think everyone knew this game was going to come out, especially with how successful College Football 25 was. It was almost like a guarantee that this game was going to come out. It would be stupid not to come out with the success to that great game, at least in terms from a sales perspective. So we already got that first little announcement. So I expect April to be pretty quiet from EA on the college football front. I don't really expect any major updates. I think they're pretty much done with it. I think all dev work is focused on College Football 26, putting all the polishing on it, because I feel like most of the dev work for College Football 26 should be done at this point. I'm not a dev, I don't know if that's actually true or not, but that's just what I would assume with the game coming out in just a few months. So I do think that they're really just focusing on College Football 26. Of course, if you're someone that plays Ultimate Team, the Ultimate Team still comes out with different promotions over the next few weeks, and that's really the only thing that gets updated at that point. Maybe if there's anything that's like a game-breaking bug, but I think with them fixing the pitching mechanics, I think that was really the last major update we were gonna get. So April, I expect to be a pretty quiet month. So if you don't see anything or hear anything in April, that's just my prediction. That's kind of what we got from last year. So I do think that April will be pretty quiet. But May, in the middle of May, is when things are going to start heating up. So I'm going to predict that May 16th, which is a Friday, is going to be when we get the first sizzle trailer. So this is going to be the trailer that's just going to, have some sort of music playing. It's going to show like a bunch of clips, something that it's going to like tease some new features. So the big thing for College Football 25 is they wanted to show like how they were able to recreate all these environments in the game. So all the ones with them coming out of the tunnel, like all the different traditions. That was a big part of that trailer. And then also they had some gameplay mechanics where they showed like the players running and stuff, but that's already kind of in the game. So like I would expect that to be in there too. But if there's any big changes that they can like just visually kind of showcase without having to tell you, I do think that will be in that sizzle trailer. But we won't really get like a bunch of information just from the sizzle trailer. And then I hope that we will get a little deep dive. We'll get a blog post the same day talking about all the major features that are coming out to the game. So if there's an update to Road to Glory or Dynasty or the gameplay or something like that, usually give like quick summary bullets over everything in specific. And then they'll probably go into each individual game mode later on. So they'll talk about like, these are going to be the main changes for this, and this, similar to how they did it last year. I don't think it will go too in depth as it did for the last game, because last year's game was literally like, you're basically treating it like a brand new game. Like it's a completely new franchise based in terms of EA, because NCAA 14 was 10 years ago. Like it's a completely built from the ground up game. So I think they put a lot more details in that one, and I don't expect there to be as much details in the first one. We may not even get a deep dive little blog. I hope they do, but I do expect to get a trailer around the middle of May, and I'm predicting the Friday, May the 16th. And then May the 30th, which is also a Friday, I'm going to predict that we'll be getting the second trailer. Now, this will probably talk about gameplay. Now, this is kind of going off of the Madden timeline, because, Madden's a game that's been, consistently releasing for, decades at this point. So I'm kind of going off of their timeline, and what they did is that they would have the official reveal, and then they would have a gameplay trailer. So this is where they'll talk about whatever, back of the box feature it is. Maybe they're fixing wear and tear, or they're going to call it something different. It's like EA, how they always like to make something different. So like in Madden, they had Field Sense, and then Boom Tech, and then whatever they're calling it. I hope college football doesn't do that too much, but they always have to put something on the back of the box to for marketing purposes. So I do think that the gameplay, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the main changes. It'll probably be a little bit more in depth, and they'll come out with a blog talking about the specifics of it. I don't know if College Football 25 will get Boom Tech. I do think they're going to like keep them separate, just so that it makes each game feel a little bit more distinct. I think it would be a smart idea for EA to keep them separate so that people would want to play both, even though I haven't played Madden. So that's when I would expect the gameplay trailer. So May 30th on a Friday, and then again, we'll get the deep dive, and then I do expect a rankings week showcase to come out on June 23rd. So this will talk about the best players in the game, which I think is going to be huge. Who's going to be because I think there are going to be a lot of players that are like freshmen or sophomore, or mainly sophomore. So like Ryan Williams, Jeremiah Smith, DJ Lagway, that will be like in the 90s. Like they'll be really high up, because based off of the cover leak, you had all those players on there, and they're just true sophomores. They're in their second year of college. So I think they're going to be like really highly rated, and I think that'll be a really cool, just looking at the rankings. And then they'll do like the official power rankings, which is, I like that too, because it basically comes out before the first AP poll. So you basically get to see like, what does EA think is going to be the best teams? Obviously, like, it doesn't really fully happen, because remember, they put Florida State as like a top 10 team, and what ended up happening there. And then we also get the toughest places to play, which I also think is a cool thing. Like I think it allows a lot of social media engagement. I think EA does that on purpose. So I would expect it there. And then on June 25th, we will get another trailer. And I think this will go over something that's a lot. Again, this is going to be going over some big features. So it could be going over Road to Glory, could be going over Dynasty, but I do expect 3 total trailers. So we'll get the sizzle trailer, a gameplay trailer, and then, something else that is, talking about. So it could be, it could be presentation, it could be a Dynasty, Road to Glory. I do think they're going to try to mix it all up, put it all into one trailer, and then release a big blog. I don't think they're going to come out with, like, each week is going to be a new one, because again, this was a brand new game last year. Now we're just, kind of building off of what College Football 25 was. So I do expect on June 25th, we will get like another trailer where we'll go over like whatever big feature they're talking about. If it's a new Road to Glory, if it's a new Dynasty updates, if they change up Team Builder, I do think that's what's going to happen. And then after that, at that point, I don't think there will be any more trailers. Maybe they'll come out with some blog posts, but I think that's basically where we're going to, that's basically gonna be it. And then I lastly will predict the release date. So again, this is going off of what last year is, but I just think that just based off of the dates, I believe that July 15th will be the first early access launch date. So if you have if you buy the MVP bundle or the deluxe, or I think if you have like EA Play or whatever that subscription is, you'll be able to play the game early. And then July 18th, which will be a Friday, that will be the full release to everyone who's bought the normal version of the game. So that's it. Those are my predictions. That's really it, guys. I just want to get this video out there just to, throw what I think are going to be the dates coming out for College Football 26. I could be completely wrong. But that's just what I expect. Let me know what you think are the dates. But yeah, that's going to be it, guys. Hope you guys enjoy. Other than that, this has been Jognal, and I will talk to you guys next time.